Hi there, everyone. Haljackey here, and I thought I would take some time to give you my initial impressions of Cities Skylines. So, the game itself has been out now for a week, and I thought now would be a good time to do a bit of a review. It's going to be similar in the format that I've done for SimCity 2013, so if you haven't seen that review, I'm going to put it in the link in the description below, just so you can check it out. Basically, it's just going to be me with this screenshot here. I'm not going to have any fun graphics or whatever. I'm not on a script. I'm not looking at anything. It's just going to be me just kind of ranting and talking to you about what I think of the game, comparing it to some other games, what's good about it, what's bad about it, and maybe give you an overall rating. So I've given this a lot of thought, and I've also played the pre-release version of the game, so I can kind of see how things are going. So first of all, the question is, do I like this game? Well, the answer to that is yes, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's great to play, and it's something that we've really been asking for as a community for a long time. It almost perfectly fits, really, into that scope from what's been requested from the SimCity community, or the city building community. And this is, a game that was developed by a very small team, by, at least from my knowledge, an unknown company. Like, I really didn't even know about Colossal or even Paradox at that point, until I started hearing about this game. So having it come from, I would say, grassroots, is such a small root company is amazing, especially on the game of this scope and scale, and it does a really good job of kind of keeping true to some of the classic aspects of a city building game that we expect, and also kind of throws us a curveball with some other things, and a lot of them work pretty well. So yeah, I enjoy it, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's playing. I do want to compare it to some other city builders, because of course there's some competition out there, and I'll start with probably the most recent city simulator before this game came out, which was SimCity 2013. In my opinion, this game is the spiritual successor, quote unquote, of SimCity 2013. It basically did just about everything that game did, and it did it better, and it's doing a lot more. And I would think that anyone who's playing that game should give this game a try, and possibly would maybe move on to this game entirely, or play SimCity 2013 a lot less in place of this game. What this game does better than SimCity 2013, obviously, the first thing that comes to my mind is city size. You do start off with a 2-kilometer square plot of land, but you are able to upgrade that many times over, and there's even more mods out that will allow further growth. And I know 2013 also had that, so I'm going to be fair. I'm going to compare this game out of the box, even though it didn't come in a box, to SimCity 2013, which I've got the box somewhere in my place, but it's probably collecting dust somewhere. I've got the SimCity discs actually mounted on my wall, SimCity 4 discs, I should say. So kind of a big contrast there. But in some areas, this game also performed well in some of the user interface stuff. Like you're able to see the graphics of like cars moving and stuff a little bit nicer. I know 2013 did that as well. It's not the same. They are different. I like this one a little bit more. However, I kind of need to be a little honest with you. My impressions after SimCity 2013 for any new city building game were pretty low. So basically anything that came out that's surpassed SimCity 2013 would have blown me away, or just would have impressed me. But this game definitely blows me away, and even more so. So kind of didn't really expect this. It just kind of right in my face, and it was great. But this game does have a few drawbacks from 2013 as well. One of them, I would say, is the infographics, or the infoglyphs of like all those maps and whatever. So in 2013, they got rid of all the all the data views and graphs and stuff that were in earlier SimCity and city building titles, and replaced it with just a visual representation of the city based on whatever you're querying or looking at in those data views. Or and you could like look at traffic congestion and water pollution and stuff like that. This game does it well, but I believe that it's a little lacking, especially in that. But I also need to be fair, of course. SimCity 2013 was kind of developed with that in mind. Like, that was a primary goal. They were parading on that glass box software to kind of get that selling copies, I guess. I don't know, but it was definitely a core feature of that game. And in this game, I don't know if it's that much of a core feature. But again, this is kind of nitpicking. Of course, the highways are also you can build highways inside the city tile in this game, which is definitely a big plus compared to 2013. And one thing I don't really like is water pipes are back. I really wish that it just was carried kind of like power and sewage. I guess sewage does use the same pipes, but I don't know. It just kind of brings it back. But it's definitely a lot more fluid and much easier to lay out than it was in earlier games. But I kind of like that 2013. SimCity 2013 got rid of stuff like water pipes and other unnecessary clunky things that slowed down your gameplay and experience. So now I'm going to compare it to SimCity 4, and I do not think that this game is a spiritual successor to SimCity 4. It's very different, and I like that because SimCity 4 still has that appeal and that theme and that complexity, but I have to be fair. I have to compare this game out of the box to SimCity 4 out of the box. And that's going to be hard because that game came out 12 years ago. It's been a long time, and I've been heavily influenced with mods and stuff, so it's going to be a little biased and whatever. But this game, of course, I think it has better highways out of the box. Just being able to build all those flyover ramps and stuff is really nice. And of course, the city size is larger, not initially, but it is later. So I do like that the city size is bigger. And of course, some of the interfaces and stuff, like I was mentioning, laying water pipes. It's much easier to do in this game, and then easier to manage and all that as well. So this game definitely looks nicer, right? It's got a 3D engine, and then you can track stuff and put in your own bus routes and stuff. Like, that's really cool. That SimCity 4 really didn't have, and you can put it right on the roads. SimCity 2013 did that as well, but I'm doing a straight compare to SimCity 4. So I kind of like that. Where this game lacks compared to SimCity 4 is, I think this is a great modern city simulator. But if you want to start and build a themed city, like in SimCity 4, you could get away with building like a really small town and have it kind of look like a small town and have that theme. But in this game, even though you're starting basically from scratch at the beginning of any city, you still have those external connections from road and rail and all that stuff, right? The big highway interchange and stuff. So if you're trying to build like a little small town in the middle of nowhere, right, up in wherever, you're gonna have highways and stuff here. And I'm just comparing it to like the basic game regions and cities or whatever. I know there's additional mods, but so it kind of takes away from the theme and basically the amount of all the different cities and really, I don't know what word I'm looking for, just different settings and scenarios. This game, it seems to be pretty uniform every time you play. You just kind of want to start growing it and get bigger, and I know you can build curved roads and whatever, but it's still there, and the scale of some of the things isn't the same, like the airport and whatever, right? It's kind of dinky. You still have the planes flying around. I know SimCity 4 had that too, so they were kind of not going too well. But I gotta say, I know I'm kind of getting out a bit, but the mods in this game that I've seen, it's only been a week since launch. It's just crazy how what's come out and what I've seen people make. That's just crazy, and it definitely contrasts itself very well to some of the initial mods that came out for SimCity 4. So now I'm going to talk about some things that I really think that this game does well, and some things that it doesn't. So in Cities Skylines, I believe that this game does a really good job of letting you be a little bit more creative when you're setting out your road systems and kind of managing traffic flow and stuff. Like you can build small roads and big roads, and then you can kind of upgrade them to nicer roads, or with the tree lines or whatever, or a 4-lane road to a 6-lane road without taking up any more space. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I like the ability that, as I said, you can build your own bus routes. For me, though, I would probably like it to have both sides of the road built at the same time when you do a bus route. That way you have a circuit in both directions. Because right now, at least until I get better, I've just kind of been building bus routes like in a circle one way. So it's kind of like, I don't know if people know about the People Mover in Detroit. It's like a tram or something that goes around the city center, and it only goes in one direction. So if you're on like if you only want to go one stop down, if you can go one stop down on one way, but if you want to go back to that station, you have to go all the way around the entire line to get there. And because of that, it's just not practical, and people don't like to use it. So you need to be a little finicky with laying out your transit networks and stuff. But I do like the level of complexity and creativity that you can do. There's a lot there. I do still miss basic terraforming tools in game. It would be nice to raise and lower terrain in some cases, and I know you can kind of get away with it, right? You could build like a dam to kind of like lower the water level and stuff, and build some embankments with road bridges and things like that. But it's still, I just like to have that terraforming. It doesn't even need to be like massive scale. Like I don't want to just put in a mountain in the middle of my city. Just a nice way to kind of make those little landscape changes that really go a long way. Couple other things I think this game could improve with is it's sometimes a little difficult to track what's going on in your city. And I know we have this chirper bird here or whatever, right? Kind of like Twitter to tell you what's going on, but I know it's kind of taken away from the advisors from earlier games. Of course, if they had advisors in this game, it would probably be like a blank copy of SimCity, and they probably get sued up the wazoo. But it's just difficult to try and track all of that information, at least compared to other games. So I feel like it's kind of lacking in that. Like I don't know when the right time is to build new schools or hospitals or incineration. Power and water kind of is right in your face. Like you see those zots, no power, boom, you build power, right? Water, kind of the garbage. But some of the other features, I feel like they could be just improved a little bit so you could get a little bit more attention to the game. I'm losing my train of thought. There was something I was going to say, but I don't remember. Maybe it'll come back. But just some more finicky things with that, right? Like the power lines. If you accidentally break a line in the system by building a road or a zone, or you did nothing that you intentionally did to take out those power lines, you're left with a mess because everything is just disconnected, and then it just becomes a bit frustrating and not like work. And I don't want to. When I play this game, I don't want to feel like I'm working. I want to have fun. Fun is the name of the game for me, and this game is absolutely a load of fun for me. But just those little work components that could be polished out, and I know there could be some updates and mods and expansion packs coming out in the future. So I'm hoping that a lot of those things will be resolved. Just those little quirky things like changing the direction on a one-way road, or upgrading a 2-lane road easily to a one-way road, or building with the rail tool, right? You can't even build rail until you build a station. I would have loved to have been the other way around, or at least have both unlocked at the same time, because I'd like to build a rail line first through my city, then put in a station, instead of trying to force something through in a specific location. Like I couldn't move that station later. Having the ability to move buildings, though, is pretty cool in this game. It's definitely not very realistic. And of course, there's other graphical and kind of glitchy, funny little things in this game that I like. But it still stays true to some of the SimCity and city building game history for example, you have like the residential, industrial, commercial colors, right? You've got the red, the blue, not the, what am I talking about, the red? You've got the blue, the yellow, and the green for those zone types, and that kind of pays homage to the 1989 SimCity. I think that's where they started it. Why did I say red? Maybe I'm just thinking of something else, but yeah, I was talking about what I liked, but other things that I think could be, I was talking about some improvements as well. Some things that I think could be improved is, I did mention that the graphics are kind of nice, but there's also some graphical glitches that I kind of see that might be improved. Some of the things that you see all the time is these cars are like kind of colliding into each other, like in an intersection. If there's two cars going perpendicular to each other, like they just kind of cross through. Like I would have liked to see maybe some kind of an animation of them bumping into each other, or a car crash, or just adjust the interface just a bit so that doesn't happen, because it takes away from the realism of the game. Some other things, of course, is if you're building like too steep of an overpass, you have like rail cars or vehicles just kind of like teetering and going all over the place on the road, and that kind of takes away from it a little bit. I saw a GIF of one of these airplanes here. They took off from the runway, and they immediately turned into a mountain and flew right through the mountain. And just you know, those things, it just takes away from the feel of the game, and just, I don't know how difficult some of these things would be to improve in terms of a coding perspective, especially with such a small team. But seeing things like that will definitely be a nice improvement. One other thing I should say about this game is, at launch, this game costs, at least in Canadian dollars, $32. That's like, wow. And even with like inflation and stuff, and in 2015, I know I didn't go to a store and pay for somebody to stock, somebody to ship it in. First of all, you got to make the disc, right? You got to make the disc, you got to ship it, you got to pay a guy to stock it, and then you got to sell the copy. Right? There's a lot of overhead there, but here I'm just directly downloading it. But paying $32, like, I feel like this is, like, I'm getting less of a game because I'm paying like half as much as I would normally pay. I paid $60 for SimCity 4 at launch, just the regular edition, and I think I also paid $60 for SimCity 2013 at launch. So that's like, it's half the price. In fact, going further back, I know for a fact that in like 1995, I paid $70 for SimCity 2000. That was ridiculous, especially if you can account for inflation. Like, that's probably closer to $100 or something like that. You can probably look it up, but that's crazy. And I think I paid $80 for SimCity 3000, but that was the unlimited version, so it had a little extra features or whatever, and it came with a really cool binded book, and kind of those other features that I would like to see when I buy a game. But I was kind of forced to just buy a physical, not a physical, a digital copy, and this is I think this is probably the very first digital copy of a game that I've bought ever in my life, via Steam. And I gotta say about Steam, I like Steam. I know City Skylines isn't multiplayer, and it is something that multiplayer was definitely a big aspect that the community wanted to see implemented in future city building games. SimCity 2013 definitely gambled on that a little too much, and it definitely came up flat with that always online stuff, but they went a little too far. But just, I would like to let somebody look at my city or whatever and check it out. And having this ability to have people kind of watch via Steam is kind of nice. And having all that content on the Steam Workshop is also pretty cool. Regarding DLC and stuff, I know that Paradox likes to make some additions to the game for a price that aren't a true expansion pack, or might make updates to the game that you need to pay money for if you want to see those certain features implemented. On the record, kind of like downloading a game digitally, I have never paid for any kind of DLC in my life. That may change with this game. The primary reason why that may change is because I feel like I didn't pay enough for the game at launch, right? Where's the rest of the money that I'm paying? So that's kind of an incentive, at least for me, to maybe buy a couple mods or downloads that I kind of see. And just going back to Steam, like having it right there on the workshop and downloading all that stuff. Like that's just a crazy nice feature to kind of have in the game. So even though this game is, wow, I'm going on 20 minutes here. Even though this game is offline, having those like abilities to kind of quickly share your city with the outside world brings that online experience to you instead of you being forced to be part of that online experience, because nobody likes being forced to do something, right? Just that like little nice thing, like I press F12 and it gives me a screenshot and it's uploaded to Steam. Like that's great. That saves me from hitting print screen, going to an image editing program, saving that as an image somewhere on my computer, and then uploading that to an image hosting site that may have bandwidth rules or a max image rule or something. I know Steam has, I think, a 1 gig limit or something right now, but it just kind of takes all that away and just makes things a lot more streamlined and more efficient, and I like that. But I'm kind of going a little over. I wanted this to maybe be 20 minutes. I'm already over that, so let me just get to the good old meat and gravy or whatever of what you want to see in this review. So I've given you some impressions, I've given you some reviews and some contrasts and some compares and some thoughts and opinions, but I haven't given you a rating. I've thought about this, and my rating of this game has gone up and it's gone down, so I think I'm going to meet in the middle and give this game, and you're going to laugh because of the rating, but I'm giving this game 82.5%, or 4 1/8 of a star. Why? Because I initially thought that this game was going to be, 80 or 90%, and then I was thinking it was going to go the other way, so maybe I was thinking 85 or so, but kind of going back on some of the other glitches and stuff as I continued to play this game and compare it to some others like SimCity 4 and others as well. It's still a very good rating. Like, it's 80%, at least in my opinion, is very good. So this game just isn't good. It's very good, and it's on the verge of being excellent. And I'm sure with additional content and updates to the game, and just the insane modability that's there, that rating will go up. But based on 1 week of play with the full release copy, I'm giving it 82.5%, or 4 1/8 stars. Looking at SimCity 2013, if you look at that review, I give it a 5 out of 10, or 2.5 stars, or just a bare pass. And I think in that I was still being too nice, because I had such a history with Maxis and the city building franchise that was SimCity, and it was just sad to see it go. And I think I was being a little sympathetic. But this game as well, I took my time to kind of do a review and come up with a number, and I'm very happy to give it a nice rating, and I might be a little more stern than others, but I think the review is that number is kind of close to what some gaming websites and publishers have given the game. But this is just a rating on the initial launch of the game. If I was to say SimCity 4, I'd probably only give that game maybe 85 or even 87.5%, because there was a lot of glitches and stuff with that game too. Rush Hour came in and it fixed a lot of stuff, and there were also some updates that you could download or whatever. But out of the box, like, there were still a lot of problems with that game, and it was very difficult to get a city started, as well as, and of course, you don't want something to be so difficult that it just prevents you from having fun, and I had some of that experience with SimCity 4. So you got to give credit where credit is due, and overall I like this game. It has a bright future ahead of it for sure, for many years to come. And I still think that because SimCity 4 is so well modded and stuff, and I've really been spoiled with SimCity 4 with all the downloadable content that's free too. I still think that it still has many years left in its life, and it definitely does some things better than Skylines. But Skylines definitely does some stuff better than SimCity 4, obviously, from a graphical perspective and stuff like that. But I'm going to end the review here because it's going way too long. And if you guys listen to this all the way through, I really hope that you enjoyed it. Feel free to let me know if I missed something or if you disagree with some of my review pieces or whatnot, because I'm really interested to know what people have to say, especially people that have, that may have been following my videos and stuff for so long. So thanks a lot, guys. I think I've hit 5,000 subscribers now on my YouTube channel. I just feel so honored, and I just make like funny little videos and me just driving around getting blown up in SimCity 4 and just kind of my playthrough of these games. So I'm glad that you enjoy it, and I'll definitely keep doing them because not only do you guys like them, but I'm having fun doing them too, and I'm getting comfortable with them as well. So thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy Cities Skylines. More from me to come, and I will see you later on. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. Have a good one, guys. See ya.